Start saving for your golden years with a Sagicor Lifestyle Approved Retirement Scheme. The time by Sagicor Life is
7 o'clock.
Tonight in CVM News at 7, student fatally stabbed by schoolmate. Excelsior Community College defends appointment of acting bursar. And Mandeville Mayor wants action on illegal construction. Also this evening, Clarendon Croc captured, calls for improved signage. In the business report, CARICOM Community Resilience Fund in focus. And in sports on repeat, JPL Ray and Nephew finalists confirmed. From Kingston, Jamaica, this is CVM News at 7. I'm Stephen McHugh.
And I'm Carolyn Brown. It's Monday, May 13, 2024. Thanks so much for joining us. Well, we begin on a tragic note. Another student lost her life in another confrontation. The female student was killed and a male student hospitalized after being stabbed by a schoolmate in Manchester.
Monday morning's deadly altercation has shocked the community. The details are still emerging as authorities investigate the motive behind the attack and the circumstances that led to such a violent outcome. Trisha Gay Kelly reports.
Another family in mourning after news of their child's death hit home. An altercation between 3 students at the Catholic College of Mandeville in Williamsfield, Manchester soon developed into a fatal stabbing. But while 17-year-old Antroy Clark, the male student, was hospitalized for treatment, the female was pronounced dead upon arrival. She has been identified as 20-year-old Excelia White. Her mother, Marion White, says she's unable to come to terms with the saddening reality.
I saw her this morning before I leave for work and she texted me about 11 o'clock at Mommy, you're alright, you eat alright. That was it.
Talk to us a little bit about your daughter. What kind of person?
She's a kind person, very nice person.
Along with her, an entire school now mourns. Councillor for the Belfield Division, Mario Mitchell, who was nearby at the time of the incident, says it's quite unfortunate. He adds reports from school authorities suggest that something has changed in the institutions since the pandemic.
This COVID, teachers have been saying to us that the students are more aggressive, they are more violent, and I'm calling on all the powers that be, the government, the Minister of Education, all the powers that be, to do whatever it is within their power to assess what is happening. There's something drastically wrong with our students.
Though unable to visit the scene, Central Manchester Member of Parliament Rhoda Crawford sent her condolences to the families and the school. She says she's already in contact with the Ministry of Education.
I have personally reached out to the Minister of Education and Youth, alerting her to this devastating incident. These incidents underscore the urgent need for unity in our collective effort against crime and violence.
This incident is now the 3rd fatal altercation within the education sector. Trisha Gay Kelly, CVM News.
Meanwhile, constant crash carnage has left some in authority frustrated because despite the appeals and the cries for caution on the nation's roads, the mayhem persists. The incidents more frequent over the years, the intensity unmatched at times. Only last weekend, 6 lives were lost, among them 2 children. Here's Nika Lewis with more.
It was only Friday that 3 people perished in a major collision in Westmoreland. Among the victims, a father and his teen daughter. Then in St. Catherine, a 12-year-old boy attempting to cross the road in Newlands was struck by an oncoming vehicle. He died at the Spanish Town Hospital. Dr. Lucien Jones, the Vice Chairman of the National Road Safety Council, NRSC, dubs it a crisis for the nation, with many mothers now weeping.
If you get a grip on public education, the 2 prominent things that can be done at this time, then we're hoping that we can drive down the numbers. But people have to listen carefully to what we are saying. This is a crisis. This is a national crisis. We can't keep on having our young people dying on roads like this. It's costing the country a tremendous amount of money. It's costing the health sector huge amounts of money. it is depleting our workforce.
Sunday evening, another fatal collision, this time in St. Catherine, in which a pedestrian sometime after 7 allegedly walked into the path of a motor car traveling along the PJ Patterson Highway near the 400 to 500 kilometer marker. It's alleged he made contact with the vehicle's left wing mirror before falling and then colliding with another motor car. He was pronounced dead at hospital. The sting of death was also felt in Manchester, where early Monday morning, just before 2, a man reportedly slammed his Nissan AD wagon into a truck laden with cement that was being hauled by a trailer along the Winston Jones Highway. His injuries were fatal, but his passenger, a female, remains hospitalized. Relatives identified the victim as 47-year-old graphic artist and New Green resident Carl Gale. The tragedy is worsened only by the knowledge that no one offered a helping hand after the incident.
People are so insensitive, these days, because there is the accident and people is just passing, just taking photos, and nobody would want to even assist. It had to be the police who had to come here, maybe if somebody did actually try and assist in some way, them couldn't take him to the hospital. But, we must just take heed, because you just drive past like what them call them, you're not even being the good Samaritan, like the Pharisee just pass. Your day will come, so we just need to take heed and give some help.
The message of driving safely preempts this one, however, and must be echoed even louder than before. Dr. Jones reasons it's time for the country to prioritize road safety as he heads into a meeting with the Prime Minister.
This week we're having a meeting with the Prime Minister, who is the chairman of the National Road Safety Council. We're hoping that we can get together and make some decisions as far as trying to institute measures that can help us to regain the momentum in the first instance, and secondly, to drive down the numbers even more so. Because going less than 400 is not our aim. We need to get on to about 200.
Nika Lewis, CVM News.
Now to a story you saw first on CVM News. The leadership of the Excelia Community College has broken its silence on the allegations of missing funds from the institution's bank accounts. However, a press release from the college has left questions unanswered, some about the appointment of an acting bursar. The school's chairman not only assured a detailed investigation into the allegations about the funds, but defended the latest appointment. CVM's Natalia Clark picks up this developing story.
A new month and fresh municipal meeting, but the same controversy.
Principal of the Excelia Community College, Fillmore McCarthy, was forced to publicly address allegations of potential financial fraud at the institution. CVM broke the news on the reported malfeasance on April 29, when sources close to the matter alleged the college cannot account for over $9 million in its accounts. McCarthy confirmed at the time an investigation had commenced and that the school's bursar was placed on leave and an acting bursar appointed. The suitability of the person now manning the post, however, came into question when our sources questioned if she has the necessary qualifications. The school's chairman, Lloyd Davis, last week could not confirm or deny the allegation, and Principal McCarthy was unreachable. However, a day after our second story on the matter, Thursday, May 9, McCarthy released a statement. The principal, while not confirming or denying the specific qualifications in question, emphasized her extensive experience, having served as an assistant bursar for approximately 15 years. He was again unreachable on Monday for queries. The chairman, Lloyd Davis, on the other hand, refused to comment on the allegations, though admitting it was looked into following CVM's queries last week. We asked the chairman these questions. What was the process used to appoint the acting bursar? What are her qualifications? How many posts for assistant bursar exist at Excelia Community College's main campus? And if, as stated by the press release, this senior official has been an assistant bursar for about 15 years, why was there an advertisement for assistant bursar in 2017? For the most part, the chairman's position was no comment. The press release further defended the appointment of the acting bursar, positing that throughout her tenure, she worked in different roles within the college's accounting department and is the most senior to act in the role. It also says she is being supported by the chief financial officer as dictated in established protocols. Principal McCarthy says updates will be provided periodically, and once the investigation is complete, appropriate actions will be taken. According to protocols outlined by the Education Ministry, the school board will conduct an investigation and prepare a report which will then be submitted to the ministry. If the report conclusively identifies and quantifies the alleged financial discrepancies, the matter will be referred directly to the police. In the event that the report is inconclusive, the ministry may opt to conduct an audit. Should the audit reveal irregularities, the matter will be escalated to the police, the Finance Ministry, and the Auditor General for further scrutiny and action. The college recently received accreditation from the University Council of Jamaica and will celebrate 50 years in existence later this year. Natalia Clark, CVM News.
Now, the Cabinet says it has received the report of the Constitutional Reform Committee today, marking a significant milestone in our nation's journey towards constitutional reform. The Cabinet has started a thorough and meticulous process of review, ensuring all aspects of the report are carefully considered. The statement says once the Cabinet has completed its review, the report will be tabled in Parliament along with the government's conclusions. It continues, the government remains hopeful the opposition will join us in signing the document, as we believe a collaborative approach is essential for achieving meaningful and lasting constitutional reform. The statement also says the government will not engage in the politicization of the constitutional reform process or contribute to undermining its integrity. The government promises to continue to update the public on the process of the review and look forward to a constructive and inclusive dialogue as we work towards a stronger and more resilient democracy. Stay with us. We'll have more to come in CVM News at 7 right after this.
Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
The best Burger King with the best tasting burger under the sun. You deserve the best. You are number one. Best. Flame grilling, juicy whopper, cause you deserve it. Yeah, next level, awesome. That's how we serve it. My menu done your way. The taste rules every day. Flame grilled goodness, you deserve it. Great taste, well done. More flavor, fresh Burger King, best tasting burger under the sun.
Hi, I'm Wayne.
And I'm Tammy.
And we are the Mitchells. You can watch Meet the Mitchells right here on CVN TV every Wednesday at 8 p.m.
Yes, you guys don't want to miss it. We will be having new episodes every week, so definitely follow along with our family.
Meet the Mitchell family.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
You're the sugar to my tea. Meet the Mitchell family.
Welcome back. Isat Buchanan, one of the attorneys representing incarcerated dancehall artist Vybz Kartel, today argued for the release of Cartel and his two co-accused. The matter was brought before the court on grounds the defense refused to disclose. The prosecution in return argued they can't be released since, despite their conviction being overturned in March, the men are yet to be acquitted. Their fate lies with the Court of Appeal, who, in a trial starting June 10, will decide if the men walk freely or if their case be retried. Another hearing to determine if they will be released prior to that is scheduled for May 29 and 30 in the Supreme Court. We will continue to track this story.
The movement declares the two-state solution untenable, contrasting with the government's doubled-down support. Amid calls for action, including boycotts, Jamaica faces criticism for its diplomatic ties with Israel, despite formally recognizing Palestine. Ramon Gordon has the details.
The Left Alliance for National Democracy, Jamaica Lands, says a two-state solution for the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is untenable. This comes as Jamaica's Foreign Affairs Ministry has, in recent weeks, doubled down on its support for the measure. Speaking at a meeting on the Palestinian crisis recently, the chairman and first secretary of Jamaica Lands, Christoph Simpson, says the pursuit of that goal may actually have a different effect.
The position of Lands has been that the two-state solution is unworkable and currently is responsible for the current situation and crisis.
In April, Jamaica formally recognized the Palestinian state after years of doing the contrary. Earlier this year in March, Jamaica welcomed 8 new foreign diplomats, among them the newly appointed non-resident ambassador of Israel to Jamaica. The government has since faced criticism for its continued diplomatic dealings with the Israeli state, a country accused of at least 35,000 civilian deaths.
The WHO, think of it, October to December. That is 3 months, 90 days, 3 months, 300 attacks. The UN actually reported that thousands of Palestinian children, as we spoke about the youth earlier, have already died from the violence caused by the Israeli Defense Force, as they call themselves, right? And the WHO, they reported that the living conditions of the remaining children overall, it's continuing to decline, and not just decline, rapidly decline.
Jamaica Lands wants a boycott of entities that do business with Israel.
Boycott the ones that do it because we should disincentivize them from doing it and disincentivize others from following in their footsteps, because it sends a message. You do business with Israel, we don't want to do business with you.
Jamaica recently joined 143 countries that voted in favor of an application for Palestine to become a full UN membership state. That despite the fact that they've yet to directly condemn the action of the Netanyahu-led government.
We had the presenters speak about the attack on the journalists, the attack on the doctors and the nurses. Where are our sector leaders? Are you not ashamed not to be here? In the same way the apartheid regime in South Africa was sanctioned, it is no different. Sanction, boycott and divest from this regime.
Ramon Gordon for CVM News.
In other news, over at Salt River in Clarendon, a peaceful day by the water took a terrifying turn when patrons came face to face with a massive crocodile. While authorities subdued the beast, there are now calls for more warning signs in the area and a re-evaluation of development there. Ramon Gordon has the latest.
Ponder this. You're enjoying a serene day by the river, but suddenly there's a chorus of screams. There's something in the water, and it's massive. Patrons at Salt River in Clarendon confronted that very dilemma at the weekend when they came face to face with the king of the tributary, a crocodile. Subsequent footage showed men capturing the creature, muzzling it, then securing it with a rope. Some of those persons were later identified as members of the Caribbean Coastal Area Management Team, who were accompanied by terrestrial biologist Damian White.
It's an overall wetland where you have the Salt River. And if you go further down, wetland normally have crocodiles. So when you expand and put recreational areas in it, you will have crocodiles that live there.
The government back in 2019 had identified Salt River as being ripe with potential for tourism. A subsequent environmental assessment found that protected species like crocodiles would not be affected during the project. However, following a similar sighting last April, former Mapin Mayor Winston Mirage issued a warning against some activities he said may lead to animal displacement.
Some of the activities that we're doing there, like we ask people not to scale fish in the water. because by putting the blood on the fish gut, you encourage the predator to come in that area.
But Executive Director at the Jamaica Environment Trust, Dr. Teresa Rodriguez Moody, is pointing to another potential cause.
A lot of these activities encroaching on wetlands, I'm going to say that they tend to be liked by hotel developments because of the fact that they're right by the coast. And what tends to happen is that you just bulldoze everything, you fill it in with marl, and you create a new beach. So where do the crocodiles go? Where do the other organisms that used to live there go? They have to go somewhere.
The 12-foot croc has since been relocated to another habitat, but the event has reignited calls for more warning signs in the area.
Now, many of the operators there would want that signage put up there because it would deter some of the people who come there. It doesn't make sense. We have to accept the reality that when you go into these wetlands, the crocodiles might be there.
Ramon Gordon for CVM News.
Stay with us for our business segment coming up after the break.
Invest in Jamaica and make your money grow. Invest in Mayberry Jamaican Equities Bond, a safe and purposeful way to invest. How? We carefully invest your funds in top local companies, empowering you to profit from multiple businesses, not just one. With a minimum investment of just $20,000 and an interest rate of up to 10.5% per annum, it's more than just growth. It's profit with purpose. Discover more at www.profitwithpurposeja.com or contact your investment advisor for full details. Profit with purpose. Invest with Mayberry.
If you save, pay, borrow, invest, or insure with NCB, now it's time to own a part of the NCB Financial Group Limited in its additional public offer. For as little as $6,500 in the general pool, you can own shares in the business built on strong performance and making life better for all Jamaicans. Invest in our future. Invest in your future. Offer opens May 6 and closes May 27. Apply for shares at goipo.jncb.com. Conditions apply.
After two grueling semi-final matchups, it's a repeat of last season's final in the Ray and Nephew Jamaica Premier League. High-flying Cavalier squaring off against defending champions Mount Pleasant Academy. But before the massive clash on Sunday, catch a special preview of the JPL Super Finals on Jamaica's #1 football show, Football GPS. That's Football GPS, live this Tuesday at 8 p.m. Powered by the Ray and Nephew Super Finals.
Good evening, this is the Business Report, and I'm Ramon Gordon. The alternative investment market is abuzz. That as the CARICOM Community Resilience Fund seeks to capitalize on the region's ambitions for sustainable development. Here's more.
The emergence of the CARICOM Community Resilience Fund, officially launched in Barbados in January of this year as a US $100 million blended finance vehicle focused on catalyzing investments in climate resilience-focused small and medium-sized enterprises, as well as critical infrastructure projects for sustainability under the management of Cygnus Capital, engaged with some of the heavy hitters in the local investment landscape during a recent event at the AC Hotel in Kingston. James Connor, CEO of Cygnus Capital PR LLC, spoke of the fund as an opportunity to help unlock access to capital that may have previously been uncertain about regional investment.
Just in climate-related resiliency, there's over $20 billion US worth of opportunities to be deployed, to be unleashed throughout the Caribbean. That's just climate-related resiliency. And I'm quoting from a document from a U.S. agency. That doesn't include the non-climate-related opportunities. So we're talking anywhere from $10 to $15 billion additional opportunities that year after year go unsolved, ununleashed, simply because capital is not made available.
Minister of Finance and the Public Service Dr. Nigel Clark, who was the keynote speaker at the event, highlighted the importance of the introduction of the fund within the broader ambitions of the GOJ.
Because it comes at a time where Jamaica and the Caribbean, we are all facing a potential crisis. Some people like to say a polycrisis, multiple things happening at the same time, where the solution to large extent is going to lie in having larger and larger pools of capital available to invest in our economies in finding solutions. So a fund like the Caribbean Resilience Fund, and it's targeting areas such as energy and renewable energy and energy and transportation, as I mentioned earlier, areas that we are critically in need of private investment, is like music to the ears of policymakers.
The relative underdevelopment of the alternative investment sector was also described as an opportunity by the Cygnus Capital PR LLC CEO.
The Caribbean, the emerging and so needed alternative investment space and specialty finance, it needs to be developed. That is the one area that is completely different from the underdeveloped world and the developed world. There are banks everywhere, but in the developed world, the non-bank sector is amply developed, thereby businesses that may not qualify, who may not fit under the criteria of banks, have options. And that's why this is such a momentous moment.
Connor suggests the Resilience Fund has the potential to open the floodgates of even greater innovation among SMEs.
So think of all those SMEs. Think of all those aspiring entrepreneurs. Think of all those climate-centric people who are thinking of ideas of solving climate sustainability. Most of those will not qualify for access to capital or credit at major institutions.
And that's your business report.
Stay with us, Carolyn and Stephen. Return with more CVM News at 7 after this.
See the thing there, Bridging. Boss, me not drive no vehicle with no white plate for carry no passenger. Nah, man, everything Chris Bridging. The vehicle have registration, fitness, and insurance. Well, it might have all of that. But what about road license and PPV insurance? Me just want to know say my thing legit. So me not have to play no puss and dog with the law. You get what me say, boss?
Operators of illegal taxis. Under Section 61 of the Road Traffic Act, if you're caught operating illegal public transport, the vehicle may be seized and upon conviction, you could be fined up to $125,000. Further, the owner of the vehicle may be charged for aiding and abetting the offense. Legalize your activities now. A message from the Transport Authority, regulating with vision.
The following message is brought to you by the People's National Party.
I am 18 years old. The government has been in power for 13 of those 18 years. From me idea, I need them around this country. I'm going to see them a plan nothing for the youths them. The little $13,000 minimum wage for them are high, but it's not awesome. Vote PNP.
The proceeding was brought to you by the People's National Party.
Hi, I'm Celine Gordon, host of Holy Road.
Hey everybody, what's up? It's your boy John Mark Wigan, host on the show Holy Road. Listen, people need to know what's happening in the churches and in ministry in all of Jamaica. It's an absolute blessing. We're really excited to share this.
Tune in to CBM, see it happen.
I am the only God.